Gotta mute them all devices. Hello everyone, I'm Dmitry with Canucks. Welcome to another video. Today we'll be talking about something that goes quite close to me, as the topic of today's video is the first topic that I discussed on camera for the Canucks YouTube channel back in 2013. And that video was the top 10 needed PC case improvements that we'd like to see. And I'd like to revisit the same theme for this video to talk about how this case industry has evolved and what we'd like to see for 2017 and these top trends that I would love to see in this year moving forward. So let's talk about those things that I said back then, right after a message from our sponsor. Introducing the new OCZ VX500 solid-state drives from Toshiba. It offers great, well-balanced speeds built with MLC NAND flash for superior endurance and is also backed by a 5-year advanced warranty program. Learn more about the VX500 at ocz.com. So for that video from 3 years ago, I mentioned 10 things. And by the way, my balcony then and the greenery looked amazing. Let's just say that. But first of all, I mentioned modular 5¼ inch drive bays. It's actually hilarious because, you know, rest in peace, 5¼ inch drive bay. It's quite difficult to find a case now that has a 5¼ inch drive bay. Most of these don't, but if they do, they are most likely modular so that users can remove them and install radiator fans or fans in general in that front area. Then exclusive rear drive access for drive caddies, and I said this because you don't need to remove both side panels to access your drives. That pretty much has gone the way it is, so awesome stuff. Better clearance for intake fans. In the past, we've seen so many blocked off front panels, whereas now it's pretty much open with just little mounting points, and this whole area there is now clear for airflow intake, so you get less vibrations, you get less noise and more airflow. So awesome stuff. Then they said more open and clear front drive cage, so that was in conjunction with more clear front airflow. And it's funny because the drive cage, the standard drive cage that used to be occupied right in front of those fans is gone. You know, rest in peace drive cage. Everything is moved to the back now because the drive capacity has increased, so you don't need as many drives in your case to occupy your storage needs. So that's awesome. Then I wanted clear side panels with no fan grills. So that was one of the trends, to have, you know, an acrylic side panel with fan mounting grills so you can install side fans and to cool your graphics card area. But that looked absolutely ugly. So we completely got rid of that, and the trend now is tempered glass. So we don't see many acrylic side panels anymore, or we still see them, but the tempered glass is the way forward. Then I wanted full dust-proof enclosures, and that pretty much has gotten to us to the point of still some cases still not having proper top dust filters, but in terms of front dust filtration, power supply dust filtration, and like all the intakes areas is nicely covered there. My next point was on space efficient designs for the interior, and I think we've gotten to a point where I'm really excited to see where we could go next. For example, for cases like the Define C and the Define Mini C, you know, we have very nice short enclosures but still accommodating everything that we need in such a tight and compact package. With cases like, you know, the S340, the P400, everything is designed in a way that it suits, you know, any standard builds and, you know, that next level of builds for enthusiast systems, for radiators and dual GPUs and etc. So everything is accommodating without it being overly bulky. Then I wanted more toolless assemblies and really focus on that with more SSD caddies, and I think now the SSD caddy direction is completely filled up. We have excellent SSD mounts now with pretty much the entire enclosure being toolless, aside from like mounting your motherboard and stuff. I remember when Lee or maybe Cooler Master wanted to introduce thumb screws for your motherboard, so you actually don't need to use a screwdriver when mounting your motherboard, and that was pretty cool. And then next is modular drive cages and caddies, so it kind of ties in with the whole modular theme, and that's been here. Like modular drive cages, now usually they're installed individually, so if you don't need one, you can remove them. Whereas in the past, 3 years ago, everything used to be in a combo of 3. So if you don't need all 3, you're kind of, you know, you're using that space and it's not utilized. So that's awesome. And my last point is, I mentioned we want to see more innovation and aggressive price competition. I think right now is still the main point. This is probably the only point on that entire list where I would still like to continue to move forward, because I would still love to see more price competitive options. I think we're getting there, but you know, you can never ask for more price competing and innovation. And so now with that out of the way, let's talk about the case trends for 2017, some of the things that I would love to see moving forward. First of all, tempered glass is a huge trend for 2017, but specifically, I would love to see the tempered glass mount to be improved. In particular, I would like to see the 4 thumb screws mount to be somewhat simplified, because right now many of those mounts utilize some peg that has a rubber insert, and then you mount the glass in there and you screw the thumb screw in there, but that rubber insert sometimes can fall out and cause some inconvenience in mounting the glass panel, and I would like to see that completely improved. The Cooler Master 5T case has the best toolless mounting approach that I've seen so far, with you know, the simple key, and it has reinforcements on top and bottom so that you can simply hang it on and push the glass in. I love this approach. I also would like to see more glasses, more glass panels utilize the darker perimeter around the glass so that it hides the frame underneath. And also when you're handling the glass, you don't necessarily have to clean the edges around the inside before mounting, because that panel is completely covered with some dark material and it won't be visible. Next is connectivity. Where is our USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type-C front I/O support? Still, not many cases have the Type-C integration at all. And you know, with the KB Lake processors, Z270 platform, the new 20-pin USB 3.1 Gen 2 connectors on motherboards on MSI, Gigabyte, and Asus, and many others already integrated. Where are they on cases? I would love to see that support come through very quickly, because it allows the 10 gigabits per second transfer throughput. Plus, we have quick charge support through, you know, with compatible motherboards. So having that Type-C port that is Gen 2 on a case on the front I/O would be awesome. Next is, I would love to see more cases come with low profile handles. And this isn't necessarily to, let's say, take your case to someplace for LAN parties and stuff, but this is generally during assembly. I'm tired of picking up cases from the bottom that is so uncomfortable, and sometimes when you pick up the case, the front panel may come off, and it's maybe a little, you know, risky with a full system assembled. So Cooler Master 5T has an excellent integrated top handle that fits in with the design. The Cougar Max, which is right here, also is, you know, it's taller because of that handle, but makes carrying the case while you're assembling it and just etc. so much easier. I would love to see more case manufacturers implement case handles in a low profile manner for easier transportation. Next is the silent case, and I would love these silent enclosures with their noise dampening material and industrial grade foam to be supported by the fact, simply because silent cases are more expensive, and you know, it's understandably so. There's more material inside the case, you know, on the side panels and the front panel, the top panels. But what exactly are these thin noise dampening materials contribute in terms of you know, acoustic isolation or insulation? So I would love to see case manufacturer give us the numbers on exactly what frequencies this noise absorbing material isolates, and you know, what is the benefit of me going with a silent case versus non-silent, and potentially save some money there. Next is, I would love to see more interior unique color options. NZXT is doing it with their fantastic color selection. Phanteks is doing it with a little bit less, but still more than the rest. Black on black is boring. Black on white is boring. Black on red is boring. We need options, you know, debrand your case. Colorware is doing stuff with NZXT cases, which is awesome. So you can customize exactly how you want your case to look in terms of color. That needs to happen. More color options, please. Which ties in the fact with, we need more different materials and textures in cases in general. I love the fact that Fractal Design is still sticking with that brushed plastic front panel that's much easier to clean than aluminum, yet it still looks just as gorgeous. I love that the Cougar Max behind me looks like it's metal, but it's not. It's just plastic that's been sandblasted with this particular set of paint that looks metal, and also the carbon fiber actually looks really good too. And more textures in general that really highlight the uniqueness of the case. I'm tired of simple steel boxes. I would love to see more texture and just surface variations on the case. And now let's move on to the inside and talk about the power supply shroud. I would love to see more modular power supply shrouds, and I think For now, they've gotten to be as good as they have ever been with that little, removable piece at the front, so you can install radiator and fans in the front there without sacrificing the full functionality of what the power supply does by hiding all that bottom chamber. But what about little removable pieces near the power supply, so you can reveal your power supply model and showcase that way? How about different materials for the power supply top cover, so you can perhaps put a piece of glass or illuminated acrylic there, so that you can have this, different ambiance of illumination from the bottom and just have this separation of materials inside your case, something that we haven't seen before. And Cooler Master is actually introducing these illuminated panels that go that you can substitute for the Maker series, and that looks absolutely amazing. I would love to see more case manufacturers implement such modular designs. How about we bring back removable motherboard trays? I know it's not something everybody wants to see, because maybe you're used to building inside the case with the case on the table, but ever since building with the Dark Base Pro 900 that has a removable tray, it was a little bit challenging to install back inside the case, but it was so easy little area to work with when it comes to motherboard installation, instead of having this giant case on the table and me having to work with the motherboard in general. So for bigger cases and perhaps for smaller cases, a removable motherboard tray would be nice. I would love to see more vertical GPU mounts to be properly implemented. That is, with you installing your GPU, a simple double wide GPU, without affecting the rest of your PCI slots. And that is, if it comes with the compromise of widening the case, I will take it, because if you're installing a GPU that blocks all your PCI slots, where am I supposed to install my NVMe SSD? Plus, vertical GPU mounts are so cool to look at. You'll finally be able to showcase your GPU in all its glory and RGBness and fanness and stuff. Vertical GPU mounts for 2017, they're coming. This one's been building up for a while, and many of you might not agree, but case fans should be optional. Many of you might still use the included case fans that comes with your case, but many will also substitute them for more, visual cohesion, replace them with RGB fans, replace them with better fans for quieter airflow, or better airflow and quieter operation. So why not have that option when you're buying a case to have case only or case with included standard fans? Case fans should be optional, like if you agree. The next one is also kind of crazy. Molex. Why is that still a thing? Please get rid of Molex connections for the front I/O. Usually Molex powers like your fan controller or case lighting, but why not substitute the Molex connector with a SATA power connector? And that way you don't have to plug in an extra cable for your Molex connector to power whatever that is needed on the case for Molex. Rest in peace, Molex. I hope never to see you again. And the last one is, I would love to see more unique accessories included with cases moving forward. A few cool accessories we've seen this year is the NZXT puck. It's the magnetic little rubber piece that you can mount your headphones on. You can do stuff with cable management. It has a lot of functionality built into it. It's a really cool accessory. Another one is magnetic toolbox. We've seen one from Cooler Master 5T. It's such a cool piece of kit that you can just mount behind your computer or somewhere where there is metal exposed, so that you can have this toolbox always ready and always with you. Another thing is RGB lighting, and not just RGB lighting in general, but diffused RGB lighting. We see so many cases that come with sort of very bright and harsh light, and again, coming back to the 5T, that has this beautiful diffused LED strip. It's not RGB, but that's, I guess, easily to implement, but it has this beautiful soft diffused light to put inside your case that's not harsh from the light if it's visible directly, and that needs to be implemented and rolled out with more in-case lighting. And one more thing, headphone stands to be implemented directly into the case, something that we saw with Cougar Max. I do actually like this implementation. It's perhaps a little bit too aggressive, but it fits with the design, and when it's cohesive with the overall design, then it's okay. So I guess all we have to do now is wait and see how the industry changes. If any of the things that I mentioned today are implemented down the line, maybe I'll revisit the same topic 2 years from now, and maybe we won't be using cases at all, and maybe cases will be this big, and who knows. But let me know what some of the things that really annoy you perhaps, on what some of the builds that you did recently and how you'd like to see case industry change moving forward. Let's have the conversation. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.